Yeah, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another week. Welcome back to week two. Man, what's up? I'm Tvshka. Josh, how you doing today, man?
I'm doing great. You really can't
Yeah.
complain. Another week, another great action that we had. A lot more high scoring. There was there's a lot of
Yes.
I think of like the 17 games, like 15 or 14
Mhm.
went under last week, where that didn't
Yep.
happen this week.
Yeah.
Uh,
Only one or
so
two went under. Yeah.
so a lot of times when your player went off, so did your opponents.
Hmm.
And then obviously we'll get into other news and notes around the league, as another podcast was used to say. And but no, I'm ready to get into it and talk about these players that we fantasize about. I guess I don't know. That's a weird pun.
Well, I'm
Anyway,
not sure how fantasizing you are about it, but I'm just excited that touchdowns are back, baby.
yeah,
Touchdowns are back. People can score touchdowns,
right,
and defenses are scoring touchdowns quite a bit.
yeah,
As we're already seeing, there's already been one defensive touchdown tonight. Fumbles are back. Good lord, nobody can hold on to the ball,
nope,
and that's a continuing trend with Kadarius Toney, which is a little bit troubling for me as a Chiefs fan. But yeah, man, it's a good week. Definitely not as stressful as last week.
no,
But who knows what's going to happen? We may get
no,
another moment that we
no.
could actually clip out. But yeah. With that said, let's go ahead and jump into injuries.
Yeah,
Pew pew
it's
pew.
not fun, but it's
Let's
unfortunate that
transition.
these things do happen. It is football. It is a physical sport, and as you hear all the pundits say. But here's the thing: Nick Chubb, I think, is out for the year. Just happened before we went on. I don't know what it is about us before we go on, and a player gets a really bad injury or catastrophic medical situation that happens. We were almost going live when Damar Hamlin happened last year. So I don't
Mm-hmm.
know what it is about us right before we go live, and someone, a big time player gets hurt, but
Well,
it's
you know what? We're sympathetic people, so we're just helping you
yes,
people go through your grief and trauma as a fantasy football
yeah,
fan,
yes,
which is
but
can very much be that.
I'll put it this way: if you want to watch the replay, it's online, not for the
Mhm.
squeamish. But two things: one, they did not show the replay in the actual broadcast, and two, the cart immediately came out and grabbed him. So I don't think Nick Chubb is going to be back for the foreseeable future, at least this year. It's unfortunate we've lost two superstars within 2 weeks with Aaron Rodgers, and now obviously there's no diagnosis, but as an
Well,
armchair,
from Schefter's Twitter, Nick Chubb dislocated his left knee and tore his MCL, PCL, and LCL with cartilage damage. Oh
that
no,
was in 2015.
that in
That
2015
was
he
such a
injured the same knee tonight.
lead
Okay,
on
never mind.
tweet. I
Yep.
saw that. I'm
Good
like, come
lord,
on,
right?
Schefter. Come on, Schefter.
Come on, Chef, get out of here with that shit,
So,
Adam
uh,
Shitter.
yeah, but so that just happened. But other than that, nothing major going on. Kenny
Yep.
Pickett got a little tweak, but nothing crazy. As far as the other major ones, Saquon Barkley looks like to be just an ankle sprain. Thankfully, people were the
Yeah.
way he was reacting. You thought it was going to be major than that, but it wasn't. Everything else came back negative. It's just a typical ankle sprain. That being said, he's going to be out 3 weeks for that. Jalen Waddle is in the concussion protocol, so we don't know exactly if he'll play. It just depends on what the doctors say. Sometimes they're out a couple of weeks. Sometimes they're out, in a couple of days. It's just kind of weird how concussion protocol. Same thing with Anthony Richardson. He hurt himself on. He banged the back of his head, kind of like a Tua thing, but he popped right back up and celebrated, but he didn't go back in the game. So we had that one. Burrow, he's not 100%. He just isn't. And he had some. He was limping off of and
Yep.
with his calf. He just said it was sore today. He didn't say anything bad about that. Jamal Williams did get dinged up in today's game. He did not. He has yet to or did not return. We don't know the severity of the injury. He walked off in his own power. So there's that. Odell Beckham Jr. Hurt his ankle, but John Harbaugh, sorry, the other one, came out and said that it wasn't anything significant. He's listed basically as day to day on that. David Montgomery left Sundays with the Seahawks with a high thigh injury, and he being carted to the locker room. He could miss a couple weeks there too. So for your Jameer Gibbs owners out there, you're getting your wish because they were trying to slowly bring on Jameer
Yep.
Gibbs and just have David Montgomery there. But it looks like it's going to be the Jameer Gibbs show going forward. Logan Thomas got knocked the heck out during his game. He did end up getting up off his own power, but they ended up ejecting the guy. Some people might say the Kareem Jackson, who basically literally launched into him. And so they ended up ejecting him out. But for just, well, who knows? You might end up owning Logan Thomas in the future. But as of right now, he no longer he's listed day to day. So a couple of concussions, and unfortunately, it doesn't look like Nick Chubb will be back for this year.
Yeah. What about Anthony Richardson?
Yeah, I touched on that earlier. He did not return. I mean, he walked off. Like, he literally celebrated and stuff. So he's one of the ones where he could play. Now, Gardner Minshew came in and played well. I don't know who they're. I don't know off the top of my head who.
But did he have the mustache? That's my question.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't get to that. I didn't get that far. And so if the way Gardner's playing, now granted they were playing the Texans, so everyone looks good against the Texans.
What they do.
It just depends on who they play next, and I don't know off the top of my head who Indy plays next, because they're not going to rush him back because he's the franchise going forward. So they're not going to try and RG3 him, or have a Tua situation or anything like that. So we don't know. It's a day to day based on how he was. I mean, it wasn't like he was in the locker room and got like he wasn't a Logan Thomas thing. He just hit the back of his occipital lobe or orbital lobe or however you want to call it.
Right.
Lobe.
One of the lobes.
One of the lobes. It's the one that has the vision that people. That's why the boxers can't hit the back of your head. That's why it's illegal, because it really can screw a lot of things up, all the neurons and stuff like that. So, and he banged the back of his head when he kind of went. Tua did when he went all crazy with his hands. Any other injuries that you can think of off the top of your head that I did not cover?
Yeah. You pretty much hit all of them. I think there's some mentions of Devontae Adams. But along with Richardson, those are just kind of tweaks, nothing really impactful. You're not going to be changing your lineup for them, or definitely not dropping or trying to trade.
Yeah.
But yeah, speaking of everybody looking good against the Houston Texans, the top 10, good Lord, bud, they looked very good against the Texans. And as one of the running back owners, I'm very happy with it. But quarterbacks, we got Daniel Jones at 31.7. We got Kirk Cousins at 28.56. Russell Wilson, 26.92. Jalen Hurts at 26.22. Joshua Dobbs right behind at 25.22. Jared Goff at 23.92. Josh Allen, 23.66. Geno Smith at 23.12. Lamar Jackson at 2.2288. Desmond Ridder, 22.38. I feel like we should round up on those. Yeah, off the top of your head, I'm sure it's probably the last person I named. What surprises you the most about the top 10, man?
That Desmond Ridder does not need to belong in the top 10 ever.
I thought it was a typo. I kept refreshing the page.
He ran one in, and Anyway, Desmond Ridder, if you want to, by all means, have at it. It ain't gonna happen. Okay, so it just won't. Okay, I mean, people are saying like, if you own like Drake London, congratulations, you got the end zone for once this year. And I know it's only 2 games in, but it's not going to happen a lot, guys. It's not Desmond Ridder's fault. It's not Drake London's fault. It's not Kyle Pitts' fault. It's the coaching staff. They just want to run the heck. It's the
hungry running back's fault.
Right. They just want to run the ball all the time. That's all they want to do. And guess what? They're 2-0. So guess what? They're not going to stop. Yeah. So if you have an Atlanta Falcon that doesn't have RB next to his name, you're going to be climbing uphill if you're relying on them. It's just how it is. They're schemed out. It has nothing to do with their talent. Because trust me, if Kyle Pitts was on any team, he would be amazing. Just not this one. It just does not work.
Right. Who are we missing from the top 10?
Your boy.
Yep. Right. But now I think he's at 11 or 12. He's just outside.
Okay.
But yeah, anybody else you feel like
Joe Burrow isn't on there, which I'll get to him in a minute. Right. My wild card segment. Nope. Again, another guy that I'm going to get to in a minute as far as where they've been drafted is Justin Fields, which that's a whole nother subject I'm going to get to. Trevor Lawrence, he had a dud of a game. I don't suspect that going forward on that. Daniel Jones did that in a half. I thought that was kind of crazy how he became the number 1 quarterback in a half. Kirk Cousins, he is the enigma of like, should I start Kirk Cousins? Yeah, you should, because he's the number 1 quarterback on the year.
Yeah, just not if it's a prime time or a playoff game.
Right. Well, he did throw for like 3 something and 4 touchdowns in a primetime game technically on Thursday. So he did do that.
Right. Yeah. Yeah,
On
but
there.
last week he just didn't do too great.
Also, if it wasn't for a moon ball, Russell Wilson wouldn't be in the top 10. So,
Yeah. But that was a great play though too.
yeah. Josh Dobbs again.
Defenders.
Daniel Jones did it in one half. Josh Dobbs did it in another half. So again, Daniel Jones can do this. I'm not going to ever rule out Daniel Jones of depending on the matchup and depending on the situation, he could do this. Okay, I mean he just showed it. But Joshua Dobbs, he looked fun, but he plays for the Cardinals. They're not playing to win. I'm sorry, they're just not. But yeah, Josh Allen, Geno Smith, Lamar, they got right. You know, it was a get back game, get right game. Anyone's over here that doesn't stick out to you that you're surprised, other than the ones I didn't cover?
I mean, not really. I mean, yeah, Jones, Wilson, Dobbs. Those are the three that especially Ritter at the bottom. But yeah, those are the three. I'm excited. Geno Smith is in the top 10 because I have Lockett, so I would like to see that be a consistent trend for my own personal ambition. But yeah, I mean, really, with those two games, those shootouts, really,
right?
It was two shootouts of the bottom of the barrels. It was really the most exciting play. Going to overtime with the Commanders and the Broncos. Of course, the Hail Mary, getting them there. That was really cool to see. But I don't know. I mean, maybe the league is leveling out a little bit, or maybe it's just week 2 and it's still just too early to see because some people are still getting a feel for their offense, some of their new players, and also now adjusting to some major injuries.
Yeah,
which is the case with our top 10 running backs, right?
Yeah.
I didn't change the week, but we're going to go with it. Here we go. Brian Robinson, 28.9. Kyan Williams, 28. Saquon Barkley, 27.2. DeAndre Swift, 27.1. Raheem Mostert, 25.7. I'm going too fast for even the ticker.
I know.
Christian McCaffrey, 22.5. Rashad White, 21.3. Bijan Robinson, Hook 'em Horns, 21.2. Actually, no, hook him down. Zach Moss, my boy, 20.7, and Tony Pollard at 19.9. Who's missing? Who's missing on that list?
Well, Nick Chubb could have been on there.
I know, right?
Yeah, it could have been on there. Also, too, thank for everyone that's so far that's joined us for the show. Cheryl, Jason Soul, and Off the Wall.
Hey,
so thank you all for joining us on this lovely evening of football. But yeah, as far as the guys that were supposed to be on there but weren't, I mean, Ramondre Stevenson, he's supposed to be really good this year. He was not on there. He just had a late touchdown there because for some reason the Patriots can't run the ball. It's kind of weird. Yeah. Let's see off the top of my head. I mean, Josh Jacobs isn't on there. Joe Mixon isn't on there. Trying to think of other ones that aren't on there that you typically would take.
The Tennessee Titan himself, but Derrick Henry just hasn't really been himself since the injury.
Well, the first game he's literally split carries 50-50. This one he actually got majority of the carries. So I guess they realized after they lost the first game and not being able to move the ball, they're like, oh, just give it to Derrick Henry. But I mean, he's getting older on that. On there. Other people
who are the surprises that are on the list?
DeAndre Swift, because I was not expecting him to do this at all this year.
Bro, he looked good, though. He may be doing that more often.
But you go for 171-1. But the thing is it still going to be a running back committee? Because I mean, when they got down to the Jalen Hurts, he wasn't on the list, but he's right outside of it. He's like 11 or 12, and that's just because he got goal line carries and didn't have the other guys run it in. But sometimes it just depends. It's literally like Kenneth Gainwell, Boston Scott, Rashad Penny sucks. And Kenneth Gainwell, who was hurt. Yeah. So that you just don't know when Kenneth Gainwell comes back. How much is that did DeAndre Swift just earn it? Is Minnesota Vikings that bad? Is the line that good? We don't know. So that's going to be interesting. Rashad White, he got the same amount of production and carries, at least the carries that he did in week 1, but this time he played the Bears. So it just depends on what you think about. It's hard to sit or start him. It depends on if you have certain guys that you're like, okay, for sure. But he's definitely a flex play and nothing else for that. Zach Moss, I think he's here to stay, at least as a top 15 back, because
for a few weeks.
Who else they have? So, and he ran fine. Now,
Right.
granted, it's the Houston Texans,
Yeah.
so take that what you will with it. But I don't expect. I don't think that's a surprise. Raheem Mostert.
Well, you know what I will take is 20.7 points. I'll take that, please. Thank you.
Yeah. As someone,
Any
I guess
week.
someone picked him up off the waivers. I don't know who that could have been.
Maybe on Saturday, maybe in the last minute.
Raheem Mostert, the system works. It just depends on what's working for them. The Patriots basically said, "All right, you're gonna have to run it on us," and the Miami Dolphins said, "Okay."
Cool.
That's pretty much what it was, because they basically just they did 3 safeties blanketed to make sure they kept everything underneath, and that's why Tyreek and obviously Jalen Waddle going out didn't help their situation, but they were like, all right, run it on us, and the Miami Dolphins said bet, and now you have Raheem Mostert going off for like 130 something and 2. I think he had 2 touchdowns. Anyway, he had 25.7 points on there. So we'll see if Aaron Jones gets back. That was a big key miss for how the Packers want to run things. So we're interested in seeing that. The fact that you can get 19.9 out of Tony Pollard and he did not get a touchdown, that is the consistency you want to see.
Right.
Okay, here's the thing. Most of these guys did it with getting touchdowns. The ones that you really like are the guys that can get the yards, and we'll go over it with a couple guys in the wide receivers. But the guys that literally can get their targets, get their catches, and get their yards, and still be in the top 10 and didn't have a touchdown. Because you're never guaranteed a touchdown every game. Now, there's one, Kyron Williams has scored a touchdown in every single game, and he's probably going to win you a league, depending on how it's structured and who's got what. I mean, Kyron Williams could win you a league the way it's going.
The consistency is what you really want.
But yes,
because you know what to kind of expect week in, week out, pending, a little bit of matchups and such. But
some people were expecting Joshua Kelly to be here with Austin Eckler being out, but no. So
well, one person that nobody expected to be there was Kyron Williams, St. Louis Rams, right?
Well, LA Rams.
By Cam Akers, hello Kyron. But scoring 28 points, man. That's gonzo. 1 reception touchdown, 1 running touchdown, 48 receiving yards, 52 rushing, but then quite a bit of the actual reception itself. So if whoever has him, which is Super Bowl Sammy,
whoever that is,
whoever the guy is, but I mean, good pickup. I mean, really good pickup.
He could probably win you a league. He might win you the league. I mean, you just don't. The way Sean McVay is running this team right now is
real.
If I owned a Rams offensive person, and as long as you start them and not have them on your bench, then you're going to be happy.
Right. Yeah.
On that.
I felt a little bit of resentment in that delivery there.
It's just it happens when you have such good players on your roster, like top to bottom. It's just you don't really know who to start. So it's a first world problem that some people just like to have.
My God. Yeah. Well, and ladies and gentlemen, with this guy is talking about first world problems. He's talking about Keenan Allen and Puka Nacua being number 1 and number 2 on the top 10, which is insane, man. Let me switch back to the branding. But you definitely, I mean, you lucked out, but then you didn't at the same time. Because Keenan Allen coming in at 31.1, Puka Nacua at 30.1 on the bench. Mike Evans, 29.1, T. Higgins, 28.9, Nico Collins, 27.6, Tyler Lockett, 25.9, CeeDee Lamb, 25.3, Justin Jefferson, 24.9, Josh Reynolds, 23.6, and Devontae Smith at 23.1. Yeah, so quite a bit of standout there. Condolences, but that's a good problem to have, is to have a healthy bench, especially early in the year.
When 2 of your receivers finish 1 and 2, but you don't start one of them, it kind of hurts a little bit. So, but I mean, it's like I said, that's a good problem to have on that. But no, basically, Mike Evans, 2 weeks in a row. I think he's number 2 receiver under. I think Puka Nacua is number 1 on the year. So Mike Evans is number 2. Keenan Allen's right there in the top 5. But if you own them, you're feeling pretty good. The AJ Browns, the Jamar Chases of the world. We'll get into that a little bit later in my wild card.
The AJ Brown pants.
Yeah, the AJ Brown pants of the world.
That's such a classic one.
He would have had a touchdown if it wasn't for freaking Rashad Penny holding. But Josh Reynolds for the Detroit Lions.
Mm-hmm.
He's done pretty well for the first 2 games of the week, and then it looks like Amon-Ra. I forgot to count on that because it really wasn't up there, but it looks like Amon-Ra might be getting a little turf toe. So now, does that help? I mean, it might help the targets that Josh Reynolds gets, but I don't know if he's gonna get the focus now, and whether or not he can get separation. Jameson Williams is still out by week 6, so we won't know exactly what we're going to get with that. But I mean, if Josh Reynolds is on waivers, I'd take a stab at him for sure.
Yeah, scoring 12 points last week, 23.6 this week. I mean, at least the floor is pretty good right now.
Yeah.
But you know what? Nobody pick him up. Nobody even attempt. Don't even try.
Nah.
Because somebody else is on waivers right now. I've been eyeing him and a couple of others, but go ahead, finish with the wide receiver.
T. Higgins. About time he showed up, put a goose egg last week and came back with a. Now I am. Again, we're going to go over the wild card as far as injuries and how they've affected your teams and what they're kind of showing right now with the the panic or not to panic. That's kind of what we're going to get into next on that. Nico Collins. I mean, CJ Stroud threw for over 380 yards. So the bad news is they're the Texans. The good news is they're the Texans. And what I mean by that is that they're always going to be behind. There was one year that Blake Bortles went off. It's like he ended up finishing like a top 10 quarterback. And that's just because they were behind the whole time, so he had to pass the whole time. That was when Allen Robinson had like a career year. And people all just think he's going to get back to that part. So this is kind of what it falls into. So as long as CJ Stroud and if Nico can keep being consistent like this, he could be a solid receiver. Now, he was going late in most drafts, so I'm saying he's probably rostered 60% of rosters. So he's probably rostered. Now, I don't know about our league or anything like that.
Yeah, 56% rostered.
Right. Okay.
21% started.
I just this lets you know how much I keep up with fantasy football. I just basically said I think he's around 60%, and I was off by 4. So
terrible.
I need to go meet somebody. So anyway,
I need to go outside.
That's just a crap for help.
On Nico Collins though, 14 points week 1, 27.6 points this week. So pretty good floor so far on the year. And again, it's another one that's on the watch list for sure.
So kind of what I was alluding to back with the no touchdowns. Justin Jefferson has 309 yards in 2 games. No touchdowns. There's another guy with the same initials as JJ, except he had a third J because it was Julio Jones Jr. Dude, I think had like 10,000 yards and 2 touchdowns in like a span of, I don't know, like 2 or 3 years. It was kind of crazy. But Justin Jefferson is getting his targets. He's getting his catches. That's why I said I liked him at 1-1 instead of Jamar Chase because of the consistency. That he might not get in the end zone, but he's going to get his targets. He's going to get his yards. And that's a good problem to have. It's like, oh, darn, he didn't get the end zone. Guess what? He's still a top 10 2 weeks in a row, top 5 wide receiver overall. So this is exactly what you want because you're not relying on touchdowns to get them in the top 10. You're going to get, you can put on him and any little bonus you get. Now, granted, you can be gritty like CMC, got all of his stuff in like the first 10 minutes of the game. And they kind of just petered along until then. But as a CMC owner, you're like, yes, please just keep giving him the ball. And he was on the field 100% of the time as far as CMC is concerned. CeeDee Lamb, again, same thing with CeeDee Lamb. Dude gets his targets, didn't get in the end zone. Still, I think it ended up like 149, I think, against the Jets, who are supposed to be a good defense. So take that for what you will on that. But Justin Jefferson, if you're a Justin Jefferson owner, you're happy. Tyler Lockett, dude's just a bad man. He's been doing this for 7 years. It's kind of ridiculous. They even picked up Jackson Smith and Jigba, who apparently was the best of Chris Olave and Garrett Wilson coming out of college. And he might be on a milk carton by next week, but I'm still holding out hope on him. So,
and with the live game, Moore almost had an incredible catch. It really was a good catch. You just didn't get both toes down.
Gotcha.
But that's what I was reacting to. So, anything else on wide receivers, bud?
No, anyone's out of the top 10 that you were surprised didn't crack it, or just kind of the The 12 to 15 spot?
Man, not necessarily. I mean, of course, you got your boy, CeeDee Lamb there. So I mean, really, it's probably going to be these core group of people, like I said, that keep getting consistent work. Like the ones that you're kind of going off of week by week as far as streaming. Like I mean, me looking out with a couple people, of course, Puka Nakua is definitely out of streaming status now.
Yeah.
But yeah, those, I mean, they'll spike up, and that's what you look for. I mean, because I know for me right now, wide receivers are decent. My running back core is very weak, so that's what I'm gonna have to stream and just hope that there's somebody that steps up and is fairly consistent that I can lock in. And so, yeah, so Nico Collins is a good one to watch on there. But man, I don't know. I just feel like for one, we need a really good segue on this one. But I was thinking like a video transfer or something of that nature, but
No.
it's nothing but the wild card, bitches.
Right. So this
right?
segment here, how we were alluding to, is at this point you're kind of 2 weeks in, so you're seeing trends of teams and how they're going. Certain players that you thought were going to be doing what they're supposed to do, and then either injuries or schematics or how they're schemed or whatnot, like new offensive coordinator stuff like that, and whether or not to panic or not. The number one thing if you're panicking, I don't know what to do. My conundrum of being a fantasy football owner and doing this for so many years, I don't know what to do with Justin Fields, because the dude clearly is not very good at the quarterback position. But fantasy wise, he's fine. Now it's not great, but he's not someone that you're like. So you just don't know what to do. Like, is he finally going to put it together? Now, granted, when you're watching tape, at least I saw a couple of things where they literally ran the same play 3 times in a row, and it led to a pick at like the 4-yard line for the pick six on that. So with Justin Fields, the DJ Moore owners, if you own a bear, go and hibernate, because it ain't gonna happen.
Yeah.
All right. So on that, and then as far as the Bengals, Joe Burrow being hobbled, he can't throw the ball down the field very well, but so that takes away Jamar Chase. Well, T. Higgins normally is that underneath guy, so I'm never going to panic about Jamar Chase because he's such a good talent. I'm just worried about the quarterback position and the Bengals going forward. Even the Joe Mixon, he was fine, but he wasn't great on there. The AJ Browns of the world. It's a new offensive coordinator. That offensive coordinator is now the head coach at the Colts. And if you've seen how the Colts are playing, you realize Jalen Hurts probably misses them. So with how they were able to spread the ball around and do really well, because I mean Anthony Richardson was a shell. Well, he was just he was a project, and I mean for the first 2 games he's looking like he belongs in the league, as long as he can not be Cam. Right now he's just got the Cam Newton syndrome of just running and not protecting himself. He's taking a lot of hard shots for that, but it's neither here nor there as far as that's concerned. But AJ Brown, I mean Devontae Smith and him are basically splitting targets right now, and unless AJ Brown gets a touchdown, you're going to get this type of week. So you have to start him. I mean, it's Jalen Hurts, it's the Eagles, but their passing offense right now is very lacking. And so that's what kind of worries me there. The running offense for the Patriots, it's kind of non-existent. But as far as the Ravens, if you own Rashad Bateman, I don't know why. It just because Zay Flowers is fine, Lamar's gonna be fine. Maybe later on in the year, Rashad Bateman's gonna be fine, but I don't. I'm kind of moving off of him, putting the panic on there. And any tight end not named Travis Kelce, Mark Andrews, or Darren Waller. Tyler Higbee, he's got targets, but he just doesn't.
Yeah.
Puka Nakua, Tutu Atwell, and Kyron Williams are taking basically all of his targets and stuff like that. So I mean, he's just schemed out of the game. You really don't see a lot of other than Hunter Henry and like Dallas Goedert, for example.
Yeah.
Like you were trying to get him, and it just did not work. So it's just tight ends right now. They are a ghost world. Like they might show up if you summon them well enough, do a nice seance. They might show up for a game, but they're going to go away. They're just not going to be a Travis Kelce, Mark Andrews, Darren Waller of the world. You just don't see, there's not going to be a 4 to 5. Or Hunter Henry has actually been pretty solid these past 2 weeks.
Yes, no, he definitely has. He's been one I've been kind of eyeing a little bit.
Yeah,
was trying to keep it low key, but unfortunately, we do have a show to talk about it.
Yeah, we have a show to talk about. I can't hide everything. I do hide some, but I can't hide
inside
everything.
information. But yeah, no, week 1 he scored 16.6 points. This past week 17.2. So that shows a lot of consistency, and each of those do have 1 touchdown. But even without that touchdown, you're looking at 8 to 10 points. Which
I mean,
is about the
TJ
average.
Hawkinson. He's obviously a must start every game, but he's kind of the same like boat as like George Kittle and Darren Waller. Like he's in the upper tiers, but right now it's Hunter Henry, Mark Andrews, and Travis Kelce. That's the way they're for the past 2 weeks. You're showing that they're going to get theirs. Obviously Travis Kelce because he's the number 1 target. Same thing with Mark Andrews. He's the number 1 target for those quarterbacks. And right now it's turning out that Hunter Henry is the number 1 target for Mac Jones. So that's what you want to find that. You want to find that hidden gem in tight ends, but
right. I don't know if anybody else is getting this, but we're getting a lot of feedback from your mic. You want to double check to see which one you're using?
I'm using my mic on here.
Okay.
I can switch.
Yeah, maybe switch like back and forth. Just kind of get a good reset on that. Sorry, man.
Okay,
While he's doing that though, I mean on the week, TJ Hawkinson had a hell of a week for sure, as far as tight ends. But yeah, you got Hunter Henry, also Ingram, Waller, Laporta, Ertz, Thomas, and those are top 10 on the year so far. But you also had Kelce that missed a game. Andrews really kind of getting back in the form probably this week more so than last. But yeah, anything else other than on tight ends or anything else on panic or not to panic? Is the question.
I mean, if you're a Nick Chubb owner, you can panic.
Yeah.
I mean, it just stinks. Oh, also,
Saquon Barkley as well.
We probably didn't touch on this. Let me switch back and see because Sol was saying that she wasn't getting any feedback. It might just be for some.
Okay, is it still getting the feedback?
It's kind of chirping, but it's all right.
Okay, let me just move it away a little bit. So New York Jets, Zach Wilson sucks. So, hey Jared. If you're Garrett Wilson, dude's a stud. He's just on the wrong team. It's kind of like Kyle Pitts. Dude's a stud. He's on the wrong team.
Yep.
So
he's on the right team. They just lost.
They lost
the wrong quarterback.
One of the greatest throwers of the football to ever break the field.
And that's a canyon of a difference. Maybe not in targets, but definitely in just consistency.
Yeah.
Actually, no. Yeah, definitely in targets because one of the stats is that the entire Jets offense had less plays than running plays that the opposing team had. So they were doing 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out all the time on the field, off the field, and just barely getting any headway.
Breece Hall, and plus they're all starting to talk. They lost 1 game, and they're New York Jets. They lost 1 game, and it's like the locker room is just in disarray. I'm like, what's going on? You lose Aaron Rodgers, and it just all went to crap.
Well, yeah, right. I mean, because that is the hope. That was the great white hope, unfortunately. But you look at last year and how Zach Wilson kind of responded to some of the losses in the games and responded to the locker room there. He lost him then. I don't think he ever got him back. And it was just, hey, this is Aaron Rodgers' locker room. Oh, we lost him, but now we're back with this trash. Okay. He looked like he did pretty good as far as, at the podium, kind of saying the things you're supposed to say. But yeah, I definitely lost some faith in that one. What are some other key injuries? Because I know, there's some other quarterback ones.
I do want to touch on this. I was also shocked. So was Breece Hall. He tweeted out 4 footballs because that's how many carries he had. So that and Sauce Gardner, do some sage and essential oils. Okay. All right, good. You'll figure it out. There you go. Press. You'll be good. But no, what I was saying was, even Sauce Gardner deleted his Twitter and all this stuff. So it's kind of crazy there. So the Jets are injured, all of them. like mentally,
Yeah.
physically. I don't know. Just they're all
Yeah, emotionally, spiritually.
yeah, mostly spiritually, all that.
I mean, all hope was gone for sure.
but no, nothing crazy. I mean, I guess the biggest one is no, Hackett's not a good OC either. He keeps. I mean, why would you keep trying to throw the ball? I just don't get it. So,
Right. Yeah. Yeah. There's probably going to be some things addressed there. And I don't know. I mean, maybe it was just one of those things where he's just not adjusting well because everything was just so built around Aaron Rodgers as far as the schemes and, but yeah, still at the same time, you should have 10 running plays. I mean, even if it's just set up an I form and give Breece Hall the ball and see what he does.
Yeah.
Just push forward. I mean, try that out.
No, he doesn't do I'm sorry. So I just saw where he said he was talking about going to sleep. No, as far as Aaron Rodgers and the Central Oils, no, he's on next level. He's listening to Dolphins Mate. I'm not even joking on that one. So yeah, he's on next level of trying to get his Achilles back to what it's supposed to be. So, but he's also just got a surgery, so he's on some good stuff right now.
Right. Going to I guess a specialist, trying some different alternatives or things that have worked in the past for others, and maybe a little bit more pseudo right now. But yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
All right. Anything for trying to get back quicker for sure. Anything on wild card?
No, that's pretty much it. Just I would definitely panic and if I'm a Justin Fields owner and just check quarterback matchups of the defense they played, and unless Justin Fields is playing a nobody, which I think next week they're playing this one small team in the middle of America named Kansas City, so probably not a good start. Yeah, could be Missouri, could be Kansas. We don't know. Yeah, it depends on who you talk to.
A second week with Chris Jones in that defense,
right? So I just don't think it's going to end up well. So when you have a Justin Fields, you just need to keep an eye on other quarterbacks you could possibly stream matchups, and if you know that they're probably going to get, what Justin Fields could get or better, then I would take the ceiling. I would take the ceiling with them on that.
Yeah. So. And folks, he's saying that as an actual owner of Justin Fields as well. Yes. So he's not just saying that, just in general. Like he's
letting you know what I'm doing.
His own advice as well. He's abandoning the bear ship. They're going to hibernation.
Yes.
But yeah, league scores. Since I'm not in the sheet, you got them pulled up, or
yep,
you can read off those. Yeah. So kind of to start that off, we got a couple of games still in contention right now, right? Yeah, let's start with those two first.
So me and that Super Bowl Sammy person, I don't know, just some random person got in the league.
Right. Yeah, we might need to do some background checks next time.
Yeah, we'll have to do some background checks.
See who's really getting in here.
It's 152 to 157, and I have the New Orleans Saints defense / special teams. As we've known, if you have if on Monday night, if you have the defense / special teams, you are not out of it. So, unfortunately, too soon. I mean, you won this week.
I'm gonna win. I don't think he had anybody tonight, but yeah, no. That's just what fantasy football is, man. I mean, gotcha. you got the ups, the downs. I know I showed that video to quite a bit of people because defense and special teams, man, they make a difference, and it looks like this year, I think we may get quite a bit more kick return, punt returns than we did last year.
Yep. I mean, we got one in the Bengals game, so what we shall see
right off the bat.
But a lot of turnovers happening this year. Me and Super Bowl Sammy we're kind of getting to the wire here. It doesn't look good for me, but you just never know. But yeah, it's 152, 74 to 157. But he had Christian McCaffrey, CeeDee Lamb, Kyron Williams. So that's pretty much kind of where he got the bulk of they got the bulk of their points on that. And I just did not start Puka Nacua. Because I was even told that he was.
Sorry, you're being summoned, Josh.
I don't know what she means by GM. So.
Her. She's the GM.
Oh yes, that's right.
Of you
Okay.
guys.
Sorry, when I'm in, my apologies.
Uh-oh.
Yes.
Ooh,
No, there's
yikes.
trouble. There's trouble in the front office already.
Wait till she goes to the board, brother. You may be in
yeah.
trouble.
Yeah. Oh yes. No, I don't know where I'd be without my general manager. She's the heart and soul of Soulful Hilltoppers. Hey, there we go. Yep. I was contractually required to have a Dolphin, so therefore I have Jalen Waddle. She wanted me to get Tua, and I was going to get Tua the last round, but then some jerk had to go pick him because he's actually good. He's on a good team there. But no, I mean, with me, Bijan, Jalen went out, but I mean, Keenan Allen, Rashad White. So it wasn't like I fielded a bad team. It's just when you leave 30 points on the bench. And it wasn't like, again, I don't like I had a bad week. I scored 152 points and I'm still losing. So it's just how the cookie crumbles sometimes on there. Kind of go back. Blackpool Combat Club looks like they're going to pull out the win against Olave Garden. Unfortunately, Olave Garden was the owner of Nick Chubb, so there wasn't going to be any comeback from that. But he was down 141 to 114, so it really wasn't looking very good to begin with for that. But the reason Blackpool had a really good week, he had Jerry Gurf, Tony Pollard, Kenneth Walker had a couple of touchdowns, so it helped him out get kind of up there. He wasn't in the top 10 though. And TJ Hawkinson, which was the number one tight end.
The Hawk definitely brought it through for him.
Yeah. And Christian Kirk. Hey, there was a Christian Kirk sighting this week.
Oh, right.
He took everything away from everyone else on that. As far as
the only person that got anything on that match.
Right. He could have had a shot, but because he has Olave and Firemuth. Olave does, but obviously he has Chris Olave. If you want to name his team that way. Other than that, nothing really. I mean, it left Drake London on the bench, but like nothing he could have done differently from what he fielded there. And then we have these Tar Heel for life people, whatever.
Right, and we do have a change though. We have a name change.
Yes. Dak Lives Matter.
Dak Lives Matter.
Yeah.
At first I thought it said Dank Lives. I was like, okay.
No, it's Dak.
Dak
Lives Matter. And surprise, he has Dak Prescott on his team. Actually, he had a decent week. I mean, he went 31-38, so it's pretty solid on that. But yeah, no, I mean, Tar Heel for life. Even with the Joe Burrow situation, he still did pretty well. He had Raheem Mostert, Devontae Smith, Travis Kelce, Mike Evans. So it's working out for him. For that regard.
Yeah, Burrow actually scoring twice as many points as he did last week.
Yeah, that helps. That helps.
Yeah, but we're talking about 8 points to 16. We're not talking about anything of major significance.
No, nothing crazy there. But I mean, just solid overall performance.
The Mostert had Kelce back.
Yeah,
so Kelce got him a little bit of love there.
Yeah.
I mean, Mike Evans in the flex. I mean, crushing it right there.
Yep. So doing really well there. Then we have the Reckless going down to don't know how to pronounce that. Schreinerks.
Schreinerks.
Yeah. If
Schreinerks.
If I'm mispronouncing it, my apologies.
Yeah. Well, it's probably Shriner and then like Kansas, like KS.
But yeah, Schreiner's got Josh Allen had a nice bounce back game. Najee Harris still terrible. I mean, he did it with Najee Harris and Breece Hall, who had 0.9 points on his 4 carries. So take that with you will. But yeah, when you have Justin Jefferson and Deebo Samuel and Laporta, that's a solid tight end actually. We'll say that for the Lions. So that's a solid tight end there. And then he's got George Pickens going tonight. So and he's already got 2 receptions for 96 yards and a touchdown. So it's kind of crazy. Once Deontay Johnson went out, they realized, go to this guy. He's really good.
Right.
On that. So
not just very similar names to the quarterback, but but you could just see the connection they had last year.
Right.
Which is like, that's definitely going to grow.
No one really else on Reckless's team that he could have started. And then I'll let you take your game away.
Okay. I mean, it's weird. I feel like we shouldn't talk about ourselves, but that's whatever.
I talked about me.
I know. Well, I know. That's what I'm saying. Like, we should switch those. Especially if you're going to do pretty much all of them except one. Yeah, no, I mean, a pretty good win for myself. Definitely felt comfortable with the lead I had early on. Squadron came back kind of there at the end, our legal consult here at the Ruckus Entertainment Variety. But yeah, 139.88 to 123 is the score. Jackson showed back up, which is great after missing him in week 1. Jacobs still MIA. I mean, hopefully 9 points is not the consistency with him. Pacheco's a hard one too, because I mean that's 8 points, but that's 8 points without a touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know. It just I feel like with our league, just with how deep. Well, I mean we're a 10-person league, and just how maybe more not necessarily deep but shallow running backs are. It's just gonna be a tough one, and especially with me having that injury to J.K. Dobbins. But yeah, Zach Moss really was the MVP. Last minute pickup, 20.7 points, and that's really what made the difference in that game for me. He had Herbert. Luckily, Herbert didn't absolutely destroy me, getting 30 plus points. But same with ETN. Barkley got the points in before he got injured. And it's good to hear it's a light sprain or just a sprain and not something major like MCL or any ligament damage. But yeah, ETN got held up by the Kansas City defense, man. And that might be a good pickup, everybody. They're playing the Bears next week. That may be my streaming defense if I can get it. Then you got Tyreek Hill, which is funny because it says it in the red because he didn't make the required amount. 15 points. It's his worst game ever.
Right.
It's such bullshit.
How dare you not catch 200 yards and 2 touchdowns?
It's such a bust.
Right.
15 points. No. A bust for his standards because he scored 40 points last week, but that's just what you're going to get with him. But yeah, Amon-Ra St. Brown actually did pretty good, except had the 1 fumble loss. That was a really, really fun game to watch with the Seattle Seahawks. Then it's got Kincaid, pretty average tight end. It's really, really the standouts. Mike Williams did pretty well for being the secondary. I know you got Keenan Allen, right?
Mm-hmm.
So,
and he's still, and I'm pretty sure I could trade him for his whole team for just Keenan Allen if I wanted to.
You probably could. Yeah, but they good. Yeah. You may want to trade high. Yeah.
He was having such a good time, and then I took Keenan Allen. I think he just quit the draft at that point.
He really did focus on that one, but what he did not focus on was his bench. Which who would have thought that James Conner was going to have that kind of game, though, right?
No.
I mean, the Cardinals' offense and defense itself is just. I mean, it looks like they're tanking just to get the first round pick. And then Thielen coming through tonight. Good Lord, getting 20.4 points.
Who's that guy?
Hey, that old whippersnapper scoring 20 points. Yeah.
Oh, man. I remember leather helmets. That was
exactly. Yeah,
he's a wore leather helmets in my day.
But I mean, leaving some points there. I did as well. Gabe Davis was just it's a hard pick because you don't know what you're going to get from Gabe, right?
He's lightning. So either he's going to strike or he's going to be heat lightning and just kind of hang out in the clouds.
Yep, and apparently he was grease lightning because he was playing the greasy ass Las Vegas Raiders. But yeah, that's the week 2 matchup for me. Anything else on league scores? Anything you kind of seeing trend wise, or I know we did a little bit of a difference. Maybe you could hit on that, or you want to do it in the private chat on the waivers.
Yeah, so I'll just touch on that in the private chat, just within the league.
There we go.
On that, as far as the waivers are concerned, just a little change there, but I'll let everyone know in the waivers on that. Okay, after watching this week and just the consistency that I see going forward, Jason, you're no longer allowed to trade. Your team's set. You're not allowed to do anything. You can't get off of waivers. I'm saying it now.
Right.
No,
you are banned.
I like his team going forward. Long story short.
Yeah.
So, but no, everyone.
But because he's got a really good team.
Yeah, that's
right.
the only reason.
Yeah.
It has nothing. It has everything to do with just me ruling with Iron Fist. It has nothing to do with envy.
Yeah.
So
I mean, he does a K-Makers. I mean,
he's gonna find a team.
hmm?
He's gonna find a team.
Yeah. He's not going to find my team.
But yeah.
But yeah, I mean, well, and yeah. So I mean, with that, I mean, it's as far as like it was last year, where the lowest will have the priority as far as the lowest record, because that helps balance out the league.
Yep.
Yeah, man. Anything else before we wrap up? And we get some more comments. Yeah, Soul saying go Dolphins. Your boys did pretty well tonight for sure.
That was yesterday. Are you talking
Or
about
yesterday?
Cowboys? Yeah.
Yeah. I'm still thinking it's Sunday, man.
Oh, okay.
So,
No,
yeah.
we've got arguably the best, other than Patrick Mahomes. Michael Parsons is the best football player in the league right now. So.
Oh, dude, yeah, hands down the best defense player.
Yeah. So
I mean,
it's just ridiculous what he's ripping the ball out of Dalvin Cook's hands, 2 sacks, just nuts what he was what he did. He's
giving them absolute hell. Diggs, that's always been my guy. As a cornerback, I played cornerback in high school for a little bit, so always got a soft spot for them, man. And he's just, oh god, he's killing it.
The Diggs brothers are on their way to be like the Kelsey brothers and being. Yeah,
seriously. There needs to be the Bills Cowboys Super Bowl sometime, so we can just kind of relive that.
Is he talking about the Jones? Oh no, that's right. Patrick Mahomes redid his contract.
Mahomes contract.
Yeah,
he restructured his contract, got a little more money. Yeah. Why? What do you want to know, Jason? You're not getting any of the money. I'm not getting any of it. But yeah, I mean, we'll see how it affects the salary cap next year for sure. This thing goes until 2026, and then after that, they're going to revisit it. I also wonder, because with Mahomes, I've always worried about his longevity. Because he really does put his body through a lot, just even with how he throws things. So, what's the longevity of that? And just with everything kind of going through as far as like players retiring earlier than normal. I mean, it may be one of those things that if he can get all the accolades he wants and hits the goals, he might be piecing out of the league sooner and not really trying to stay for 20 years and push his body to the max. But I think he's kind of a legacy guy. So I think that's what he looks at. So for him, there's probably a certain goal. It may be, the Brady 7 as far as Super Bowl titles. And if he gets that, then he'll get out or what. But I don't know. But yeah, it's good for him though. Soul says she would love for Mahomes to be right? Yeah, designated hitter.
I mean,
is that right? Is it DH a designated hitter?
Yes.
Or,
yeah, you're
so
right.
Designated hitter.
Yeah, it's basically what
once he retires,
that's basically what David Ortiz ended up getting the Hall of Fame for, was just being a really good designated hitter. Like he played first base, obviously. I mean, but he basically was just known as more of a DH than anything else towards the end of his career, and he was still awesome on it. So sure, Jason, you're welcome.
Yeah.
On that.
Yeah, man. We appreciate all the love you give us too, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even though it's starting to cause a little drama in our chat, Daniel Haygood is feeling a little bit like we're all against him because Jason was saying, "Hey, good luck tonight," or "Hey, good game,"
Okay.
Being supportive, knowing that he
thanks for that.
Ruined my dreams last week.
Yeah, no, Haygood's the law, so we're fighting against the law. Just put it that way.
Right, but the song is "I fought the law and the law won."
Well, he didn't win this week, so
not this week, baby. You suck at law.
I think it's a good way to to end before some special teams happens. All right. Yeah.
Awesome, man. Well, hey, anything you're looking forward to this next week?
Winning.
What you got?
Dallas winning, and just kind of seeing. Everyone stay healthy, and just see kind of where the trend is going. If we're going to consistently see high-scoring games again, or we're going to get back to week 1. Because that's typically what happens in week 1 is you'll see low-scoring games, and then the offensive schemes and kind of filling each other out kind of gets done because a lot of that because a lot of times some of these guys don't play preseason, so they're still kind of getting used to just going out there and going full bore. So interested to see if we get another high scoring week, and just kind of the trend going forward.
Yeah, I love it. Man, that's literally why they change some of the rules, is to make it to where scoring happens more often. Offense sells tickets, but defense wins championships. And
I'm hoping that.
Yeah. All right. I mean, myself as well. I mean, we got a good one, so we'll see what that looks like.
He will get traded, but he will not go off. He will go off into the sidelines and sit there, but he will not go off.
Yeah.
So he might get traded.
Go off and get water.
He might get traded to the Browns. I mean, they need a running back, unfortunately.
Hey, go ahead and keep him, Jason. He's gonna be great.
Yeah,
he's gonna do so much wonders for your roster. He's gonna keep a warm bench spot. So don't change.
Yep.
Don't change, Pony Boy.
Yep. He's gonna be on a team.
It's gonna be there. But yeah, well, hey man, that's week 2. We're excited for the next one. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. Appreciate you all in the chats being lively. Definitely, next week we'll probably take a moment in between each segment to kind of address some of the chat and get everybody else involved. But yeah, for Josh, I am Tvshka. This is Ruckus EV, Ruckus Entertainment Variety. Follow us at everything Ruckus EV. You can even join the Patreon and join us and join our league probably for next year for sure. I think I would love to do maybe like another type of league, like a keepers league or something of that nature. So. But yeah, leave us a like, subscribe, hit the bell, leave a comment, do all that good stuff that helps us out, good people. And we will see you all on the next one.